understanding what your competitors are doing is so important, because if I had simply done my research on what was actually happening in my own market, then I would have been able to know how the best people in the market were doing it. And the best people in the market were doing it, and they've spent millions.
Let's go.
Liam, hey man.
Hey, that's my dude.
Really
yeah, I had a
good.
bit of
Thanks so much for
trouble
joining
getting
us.
on.
No, we figured it out. You actually did it quite quickly. Yeah, usually it takes like 5-6 minutes, so you've done really well.
Yeah. We're gonna have to hold it though.
Now, now I'm just wondering, with your volume, are you able to turn that up at all? Is that possible? So we're just once Liam's internet kicks back in, we'll go through there. Hey man, you're back with us.
Hello?
No, all good. That happens sometimes. If the
Yeah.
internet's a bit up and down, then it'll tend to cut out a little bit. But no
Everything
stress
okay?
there. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's a little quiet on your end, but aside from that, it's all good. How do we go?
No.
All right. We'll get there. No, all good, man. So everyone tuning at home, Liam, Ashley Davis, really looking forward to having him on today. So Liam, yeah, how's all good, man. Is there a better room you've got with a bit of internet, or is your laptop set up in a particular room?
Yeah, well, I've set up with my lighting and everything, so.
Yeah, cool.
Right, okay. And I've got it on charge. As I've been out all day, so my.
No, all good.
Put my phone on charge. Oh, back up.
All good, man. So yeah, I'd love to hear about how everything got started. I mean, you're only 23 and you've already got your own ad agency, which is awesome. Like, and you're going to be expanding this first quarter, which is fantastic. So that's a huge accomplishment, man. So yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'd love to just hear about how it all started.
Dude. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Right. Let me see.
All good. As I said, the beginning, it's always about technical difficulties. We figure it all out, and then,
right.
I'll cut all this out later, so no stress there.
Sorry, dude. It just keeps on freezing.
That's all good.
Let's think. Right.
As I said, we'll figure this out, and then once we're up and running, it'll be all good. So everyone at home, if you want to grab a coffee or something, come back in 2-3 minutes. We'll have this up and running.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Wait there. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it seems pretty good on my end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. I
yeah.
think we're okay.
Yeah. So no freeze on my end. So can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's go. No,
it's a bit,
a little bit of a lag. All right. Well, we can work around it. That's cool, man. All right. Well, yeah, I'd love to hear about how you first got started in the beginning.
No, it's not. It's it's not quite working, dude. I don't know. It's a bit
up and down. All right, so Liam's joining us today. His internet's having a little bit of difficulty. So good. Maybe perhaps with your phone, if it's on charge, is there another room maybe closer to your modem? Would that perhaps work a bit better?
Right. Let me
yeah.
try.
We'll try that. I mean, as I said, it's the beginning of it, so
okay, let me. Yeah, let me just,
basically with
go back and then I'll join. Can I rejoin?
Yeah. If you need to, man, go for it. So if you want to leave and then come back in, I'll just stay on the live, just so that way it's up and running.
Let me.
All right. Yeah. Home, basically, yeah, we're just getting set up with the internet. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is pretty standard, just say with internet connections and that sort of thing. So there's absolutely no stress from my end. It's just a case of within a few minutes we'll get it up and running, and then the show will begin. So until then, Liam's just going to figure out with internet and things like that. And you know, from everyone over in the States, you know, they're always saying that the US internet is better than Australian, but you know, I'm yet to have it where mine actually cuts out. So we're doing pretty well in that regards. Now Liam's actually from Wales, so he's not from the US. So I guess it's kind of a you know, arbitrary example to use, but it's just something that we will get Liam back on very shortly. So yeah, as I said, just if you want to grab a coffee or something like that, and then we'll get it started, and then yeah, really from there we'll get him jumping on. So once Liam figures out with his internet, hopefully close to the router, then we can get him on board. For the actual podcast, I always cut all of this beginning bit out. For YouTube as well, we'll cut that out too. So over the last few days, I've just managed to get the Online Footprint Project up on iTunes, which is amazing. So thank you so much for all the support so far. And if you have watched or listened to any of the shows, if you're able to get a 5-star review, that would be absolutely amazing. And then in regards to Android, that'll be up very shortly. So Liam, he just wants to join in again. So hopefully his internet's a bit better this time. Because it can get a bit hard, you know, with doing 2 video connections from around the world. So it's certainly understandable that sometimes the internet can cut out. But once we get him on board, hopefully it's all good. Hey, man, he's better.
Hey.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Awesome. No, great. Awesome. Yeah, I'm loving. Are they curtains in the background? Are they sheets? I'm loving the
curtains. Yeah.
The gold, man. Yeah. That's great. No, I love it. I was saying the other day, like, hey, yeah.
Hey, it's late over here, dude. So.
Yeah, what time is it over there?
What is it? It's past 10 in the evening.
Okay,
half
yeah,
10.
so it's
starting
to tick on. Yeah, that's fair enough. No, man, the picture's heaps clear
now.
now. Exactly. I was just, with volume, is there any way to turn it up on your end? Because I can hear you perfectly fine. It's just a little quiet.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's not much I can do with the iPhone.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Sorry, dude.
I can still hear you fine though, so I'll just get it like.
Yeah. It's the iPhone 7, so I've got the charger in the thing. This is the backup. So I'm gonna have to shout.
Yeah.
Right.
No, all good. All good. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on the show. For everyone that's tuning in at home, so we'll count this as the official start of the episode. So yeah, Liam, Ashley Davies, you know, exactly. Man, there's always technical difficulties, so that's fine. I think everyone's just used to me talking shit for a few minutes before we get started, so that's now standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone at home. That's it. Well, I had a guest on the other day, Seth Smith, and you know, he massive like e-com star, drop shipping, you know, multi-millionaire, and I knocked over one of the lamps, and there was just glass everywhere. I was like,
oh, no.
Fuck. But we were pretty much good to go, so I was like, the show must go on. So
yeah.
I just put on some shoes and just kind of worked through it. So yeah. But no, man, I really appreciate you coming on. For everyone tuning at home, Liam is only 23 years old. He's got his own ad agency. He's expanding to 6 team members this quarter. So it's going to be an absolute massive one for him. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No worries, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No, my pleasure. Yeah, it's great. So I'd love to know, so when you first started, like being only 23, you know, you're still quite young. How did you really, you know, how did this all come about? Like, was it something you've always had an entrepreneur mentality, or was it something that in more recent times you just kind of came across it? What happened in the humble beginnings?
Okay, so like I started off in university, and my kind of idea was that I would work my ass off academically and then get a job.
Yep.
And you know, and then I always had an idea to have a business, but it's the timing. So I thought that I needed to have all of this under my belt before I was able to go out and then set up my own company. So I was thinking I wanted, work for a big company and then work my way up and then get to the position where I leave the company and so on and so forth. But it came around that I was looking at and like working in companies, and I don't know. I just thought I had a placement year in my university degree. So my degree was in business and international relations, and I specialized in marketing. And I thought, well, the placement year, you could literally do what you wanted to do. A lot of my friends went off to like IBM, Google, whatever. So I was like, okay, let's. I'm gonna try and do something when I've got the least amount of risk. So when you're younger, you got less risk. So I may as well take some risks now, and then see what happens. So, but I took a risk, and it wasn't with this business. So this will lead you. This leads back to something else. So this is actually how I got started in business. So my first business was online coaching, which was where I was managing a small team of people. And my idea was that if we had a collective group of online coaches, that we could pool our marketing efforts together, and it would be cheaper than to advertise for one. And you could get out there a lot quicker and leverage personal brands of the people involved. So I thought, all right, okay, doing a collective, get a percentage of the people who are actually under our umbrella of our brand. And then I trained in, I had a passion for fitness. So I also then would do the coaching because I got qualified in nutrition and things like that, and exercise.
Oh, nice.
So I thought, okay, let's do this. I have a hobby in it. Let's give this a go. But it's one of those things where you kind of turn into perfection mode, and you think, you think that you need to spend like a lot of money when it comes to like, getting your business out there. So being as I was a student, I was broke as, dude. So I
broke as fuck. Is that what you're gonna say?
$3,500 in. Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Can you swear on this show? Keep it PG.
Man, do whatever the fuck you want. Like.
Yeah. So me and my business partner, we invested $3,500 into a website, and we wanted all singing, all dancing, having functionality that we didn't even know that people wanted. We were just like, this is a great idea. Let's build this into it, and we'll do this, and we'll have a community.
Okay, let's do it. Make it shiny and
Yeah. So I thought, let's do everything. Okay. But like reeling it back in, I could have got started with, the bare basics, proved my, MVP style, minimal viable product, and proved like the concept, and then invested afterwards once I knew what worked and what didn't work. And I didn't do that. Oh, you're right, dude?
Sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't do that at that point, not efficiently. Like I thought I was doing that, but I could have done it better. We went on, and then we spent all this money, and then it came down to it, and we was like, right, let's open. We launched, and then crickets, like just crickets. No one was there. I was like, what happened?
Yeah. What's going wrong?
Yeah. So we launched, and there was no one there, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. So, and then a week went by, and then we started getting sales, but it wasn't online sales. And this is what really kind of switched it on for me, was because we were getting sales, but they weren't online sales. They were sales I made through my own relationships to refer people in face to face.
Oh, okay.
And then referring to an online business. So I was like, damn, all these other people are making sales online. Like, why can't I? So I went in, thought, okay, I'm going to make it my mission to learn online how I'm going to do it. And that's where the journey started. I started learning about social media, because social media is a buzzword. Like everybody's like, social media, that's where it's at. So I started learning as much as I possibly could about social media. like online advertising, getting sales, conversion rate optimization, and all this kind of stuff. So I just engrossed myself in it so that I could find out what it was. And then turns out I really enjoyed it. It was something that I was really passionate about, but I wasn't as passionate about the fitness side of things. So although it's my hobby, it's not something I actually wanted to do. It's nice to keep your hobby separate from your day-to-day. And that's what sometimes if you become fitness 24/7, it engrosses your life. So
it does. And plus, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, so I was marketing, I was doing fitness, I was doing, you're doing everything. And then I was like, and you just wearing yourself thin. And because of that, I was like, no, okay, like I need to just find something that I enjoy. And the real side of what I enjoyed was the marketing. So hence why I still want to be an entrepreneur. Well, I don't like the word entrepreneur though. I like business owner. I wouldn't class myself as an entrepreneur until I was like raking in a decent amount, at least multiple 7-figure businesses or something, and then you can start calling yourself an entrepreneur, a business owner. Okay. So I thought, okay, I'll focus in and I'll narrow it down. So I think if you have read Eric Ries's The Lean Startup, they call it kind of a Zoom pivot. And you focus in, because our idea was marketing for the personal trainers. We just changed slight bits of that and made it so that we were marketing for the businesses. And that's how we came up with the idea. So we came up with Valley Social Media. Valley, it was so simple how we came up with that, because I'm from Wales, and part of Wales that I'm from is known as the Valleys. So I came up with really innovative, I just called it Valley Social Media.
Really, a lot of thought went into it.
Yeah, a lot of thought, but it was a freedom. It was like the domain was free, so I was like, dude, I'll go for this. And it has
best £8 ever.
Yeah, well, it resonated with me, but it also resonates with the local clientele. So they understand what it is as well. So that kind of helped, because that helps. And a lot of people think that they hear of my business before they even I didn't market the business, and they were like, oh yeah, we know Valley Social Media, because they think they know it before they even knew it, because it sounds like a name that they would know. It was really an unusual. Exactly. So you kind of, it's just cool. The name, because a lot of businesses use Valley or something like that in the name, so they just assume that they know the business, which puts you in a good place, actually to just approach people, because they think they know the business anyway. They probably do now. Like, we do a bit of marketing now, and we're a bit better known, but at the time, we were like fresh, right? Nobody knew who we were. And then we just started out with small clients, and then building our name up, and a lot of like word of mouth. I was doing like networking events and things like that. I started this business without even having a website. Like, to this day, my website is still being built. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get. How I've been getting clients is through my social media channels. Predominantly. I have a group, Social Media Insider. I've got clients through there, but that's only recent. Most of it was through relationship building that I've done online. But that's how we grew. And then I've joined recently a business accelerator, which has put us in contact with about 90 other businesses. So there's 90 other businesses from our office. And that has been a lot of relationship building and trust through understanding what I've done through my social media channels. So if I'm posting on my personal profile or something like that, then people are seeing the kind of things that I'm talking about, and then they get interested to ask me more. And it's been about it that way. But the larger clients have then come through a lot through the accelerator, and then referrals from clients then as well. So a lot of it's been that. But that
that's
cover
awesome.
where we're at. Like we're
man, that's great.
We've been going for about I think it's about 9 months now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been I say it's been okay. It's a better growth than we had from my first business. But again, I think that there was a lot of things that I need to sort out with this business initially that have really come together in mainly the last 6 months. Because the last 3 months, I running an agency is completely different to what I was doing before. And you have to, like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you can manage a business within that. I don't know if you've ever read like the E-Myth. A lot of people, just because they're good at something, think they'll start a business. But it's actually building those systems and processes that actually generate you a business, not so much the like being good at what you do. So it's being able to create those systems, processes, team building, and leadership that really grow your business. And that's where the development then came in, really in the last 6 months.
Yeah, beautiful. No, that's great. Yeah, in 9 months you've done fantastically. So especially it's all about failing forward. And with your last business, if it's something that is with a collective, all these people trying to get together and start a business, and you get a shiny new website, and then launch and realize, oh shit, like no one's coming to it, and it's like, well, that's pretty standard. Like it's a lot harder to get people to a website with zero effort than you think.
yeah, definitely, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's cool. I know what you mean.
We thought there would be people though. Like, we had interest, and that's where kind of call to actions and social like engineering, so that you kind of create a crowd, essentially. So I'm a big advocate of being able to create. If you create a crowd, then people will follow.
Yeah, for pre-launch.
So that's how you kind of get people in. And really, I should have thinking about our launch. The things I would have done differently now, so much more I would have done, and utilized content better. I would have put it so that the team members were doing like certain things through promotion themselves a bit more effectively, other than leaving it down to us to do the sole advertising for it.
Okay.
It's so many things that you could, obviously in hindsight, you could think, oh, shit, I should have done this.
Oh, of course.
Should have done that.
Yeah, hindsight's a bitch.
The great thing is now. Yeah, I know. But like, the beauty of it now is that I can bring what I've learned to other businesses, and really innovate there and understand. Like, I've tried a lot of things now. One of the things that we kind of do now is we when we run our advertising, we do a lot of split testing for our advertising.
Good.
There's so many things that go in part of what we do that you didn't do before, but that's how you optimize for conversions. Now is just understand what works and what doesn't work, and do a lot more testing. Whereas I just used to do one thing, and then if it didn't work, then I didn't really learn from it effectively. Yep. So it's going back and analyzing what you did and what worked and what didn't work, and then doing more of what does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's good. Well, that's the thing, especially if you're running ads, you've got to do split tests like 100%. Like whether it's, say, running Facebook ads or emails, whatever it may be, you absolutely have to do split tests, because otherwise you're not going to learn anything. Because if it didn't work, you're like, oh, all right, well, that's the end of it. I don't know why it didn't work. Whereas, if you're doing split tests and you're tweaking it when you're sending out your, advertising content, then you can at least say, oh, well, this one worked a little bit better than this one. Let's tweak that a bit more and really, fail forward. So, that's great that you started to implement that. Yeah, no, awesome. So, I was wondering, when you started doing your networking, so for those listening at home that maybe haven't actually started. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Like literally,
we'll do our
give me
best.
2 seconds. Okay.
Sure, man. Do what you got to do.
It's literally bit off. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just sort out the router.
Sure. So for everyone tuning in home, Liam Ashley Davies is basically a ad superstar. So he's only 23 years old. He's only had his business for 9 months. He's about to expand to a team of 6 this quarter. So he's doing amazingly, which is fantastic. So he's just having some internet issues at the moment. So he's just sorting all that out. And then when he comes back, we'll get back on track. But yeah, he's been doing really well.
Sorry,
so how's that?
Hey, sorry, dude.
No, yeah, man, all good.
Wales hasn't caught up.
That's better.
Super fiber, yeah. So.
Well, we here in Australia, we got a NBN, and basically that's been it's taken so long to build it, and they've realised that once it does finish completely getting rolled out, the new technology is going to be available. So it's really just been a waste of like millions of dollars.
Exactly. Well,
it's like,
they really have. Look, where I live at the moment, I have to do a lot of my work from my office because that's in the city, and I live outside of the city. So I've got to do a lot of my it just ends up being I'm in the office until 8 o'clock most evenings. So
yeah,
just because I need the internet. So
oh shit, you have to download all your porn and then take it home.
Yeah. It's like waiting for it to buffer.
Yeah. Worst feeling ever.
Yeah, I know. Not happy ending.
But no, yeah. But no, the internet seems to be fine now, so that's awesome. That's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, as we were saying, split testing is so important just to really just learn from what's going on around you and really just assessing everything. So it's awesome that you're starting to implement now, which is fantastic. But yeah, so for everyone at home that's listening in, I mean, thank you so much for investing your time with us here today. But Liam, I was wondering when with the networking events, because I know a lot of our community, they are predominantly just online. So for those that are, maybe considering going out to networking events and things like that, when you first started doing that, what would you really, recommend for those that do it? Like, what did you find worked really well for you, or what did you find you learned from that perhaps didn't work so well?
Okay, so one of the things that I didn't understand was about the idea of providing value first before you sell.
Okay.
I don't know if that So understanding that
for 2018 that's massive. Yeah
you need to provide value, right? Same with your advertising. Like some people, like I did it myself, you throw all rules out the window. You forget about relationships, because as soon as it gets online you think, oh, I'm just gonna market to these people and it's gonna be buy me, and like all laws of engagement just go out the window. Like face to face you wouldn't do that stuff, right?
Exactly. You wouldn't be like, buy this.
Yeah, but like it's the same, right? Okay, so you wouldn't walk up to a girl in a bar and say, marry me, would you? No.
Exactly.
Because you'd be a creepy weirdo, and like you would never get a second chance, right? Like if it works, tell me, because I want to know what you did. But that you can't do that stuff, right? So you've got to go through logical processes and go like, okay, so have a chat, buy a drink, first date, second date, and then you gotta go and then actually, move in together, all those kind of things, and then you get married.
Yeah.
You don't do this skip all the way to the end, and that's what I was doing. That's why I see so many people doing, and they just buy. So you really gotta warm your audience up to you and provide value, and the more value you provide, the better chance you have of converting them, essentially. That's one of the things that I learned. But also understanding what your competitors are doing is so important, because if I had simply done my research on what was actually happening in my own market, then I would have been able to know how the best people in the market were doing it. And the best people in the market were doing it, and they've spent millions. Like, seriously, some of these companies who could be in your niches have spent millions on knowing what works, what doesn't work, and really honing in on that. And that's why one of the big things that I advocate is really spying on your competitors to understand what it is working and what isn't working. So I'll literally, if it's a new company with us, one of the things we'll do is we'll go in and we'll go into their niche and understand, okay, so how is this company doing it? Right, I'm gonna subscribe to their newsletter. I'm gonna go in and attempt to buy from them, and then not buy from them. So I'll abandon the cart. See what kind of retargeting advertising they're doing. If they are doing any,
good.
I use a tool called Pixel Helper, which tells me if the company is running a pixel and on what pages and how many pixels they're actually running. Are they running Facebook?
Yeah, that's a great Google Chrome extension.
Yeah, Google Chrome extension. I'm looking at those things. I'm looking at their email sequences. So I'm looking, right, okay, so I'm going to sign up to their newsletter, and I'm either going to buy from them, if it's reasonable anyway. We work with
of course.
We work in car dealerships as well, so I'm not doing that one. I'm not buying a car just to see.
Just roll up in like a Beamer, like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, just to see what their email sequences.
Charge your client, like, oh, look, it's market research.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell them that. That's a good one. I haven't thought of that one. So we'll do stuff like that. But really understanding their email sequences, and you can get one over on them, because what you can do is understand what they're doing and do it better. And not only that, but sometimes it takes doing completely opposite to what they're doing in a logical way, though, to kind of separate you from the market. So one of those kind of everybody's doing one thing, you do another, and that's what gets you to stand out. And that's one of the things that I definitely advocate for that. But yes, understand your competitors. And I'm not saying like compare yourself to your competitors. Like that's negative.
Yeah, it's just analysis. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Because if you start comparing yourself to competitors, it can put you down, man. Like seriously.
Especially if you're just starting out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you've got a lot to work up to, and these guys could have been going for quite a while, But if you understand what they are doing, emulate what they're doing right, take away what they're doing wrong, and try and find out how you can leverage that for your business. And I know if you can do those type of things, but especially if they're not doing something, if they're not providing enough value, then how do you provide value where they're dropping the ball, and understand that. So I know that if you've done business, then you might hear like Michael Porter's 5 Forces and things like that. So that talks about kind of your competitor analysis, essentially. But it's one of those things you can do competitor analysis, but then also doing a kind of a user experience almost of your competitor can really get you in understanding how they function as well, and what sort of process they're going through, so that you can utilize that for your benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you can get a hold of customers as well, depending on the field, like that's going to be so invaluable as well. Like I started a personal trainer search engine a few years ago. Was one of those, fail forward examples, drop 40K on a website, make it all shiny, and I'm like, oh shit, like, yeah, I know, man. Oh, well, it was not just the website. There was a few back end things. Yeah. No, well, look, we'll just say it didn't work out. But yeah, I basically I looked at the competitors. I would actually go on. And the personal trainers that are actually on competitor sites, I would email them and say, hey, what's the user experience been like? If I'm setting one up, what would you recommend? And that was really helpful as well in regards to, assessing, who's already using it, for the clients, or in this case, the PTs. So, definitely that research is really invaluable to move forward, because the biggest lesson I learned from that was I didn't validate my market enough. In that I just thought, well, the States are doing what I want to do. The UK's doing it. They're absolutely killing it over there. There's heaps. Whereas in Australia, there really wasn't what I was doing particularly. There wasn't really anything offering similar. So I thought, I got the entire market to myself. But yeah, it turns out there was a reason for that. So yeah, really just tweak and fail forward.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, that's awesome, man.
Like,
yeah, so
you've got to learn from your mistakes at the end of the day. But that is one of the things that people are not afraid. They're very afraid to like say that actually, you know, I failed, but it taught me a lesson. And that's one of the things that I kind of, you know, advocate is that because if you're failing, you know, you fail and you get closer to where your actual goal is, and it gets you forward because, yeah, it's like cold calling. I know that people advocate for like every no one step closer to a yes, yeah. So that's also the same for failing.
Yeah.
Every failure you have is one step closer. But the only thing is with failure, try and make it as least costly as possible and fail hard.
Yeah, as lean as possible.
And then
make it as lean as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
That's
it. Because I mean,
one of the things. But you were saying about you know, like understanding what those customers were doing. So they were already interested in things to do with personal training, right? But also like understanding their pain points is like one of the things that we also advocate. So we're looking at things like what are the current pain points? What do they have pain points with the current provider? So if somebody else is filling, you know, and solving a problem, then understanding, are they solving that problem efficiently? Is there anything that the company that we are marketing for could possibly do better to leverage that as well? So that's one of the things that really gets you ahead. Also, like simple things when advertising. One of the things that we also do is research the pain points. Like I'm like, you know, Google is one of the best tools you have like ever. Like Google is so good.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like something, you know, obvious, right? But people forget.
No, but it is obvious, but it's amazing. Like, and we don't utilize it enough. Like, you know, half the people on the internet, like you've got the world's knowledge at your fingertips, and people are like looking up cats and shit.
We all love a good cat sometimes. Yeah, but honestly, if you go like, say you got one of the things that we you know, like chiropractors. I know a big thing in advertising, particularly like Facebook advertising, is chiropractors. But if you just search out what are the main reasons people go to a chiropractor, they'll tell you that like things like sciatica, neck pain, back pain, blah blah blah. And then if you call that out and you understand what the problem is, if you call the problem out in your advertising, then people will relate to that because like, hey, I have sciatica. Hey, I have back pain. You calling that out, and then they're the people who are going to reach out. Like one of the things also with advertising, if you call out the area, that's so much, unless that's so underutilized, because the more specific you are, the more likely the people that are going to respond to what you're actually putting in your advertising out. And I know, like, we might have gone off advertising a bit, but like, I'm reeling it back into advertising because, like, obviously with our agency, but that's one of the things that people also forget is that you can call out. So if I call out, my nearest city is Cardiff. So if I call out Cardiff, I say, hey, hey Cardiff, are you blah blah blah? You know, are you suffering from X, Y, and Z? And that gets more response if you call out the area, specifically if you're doing local marketing.
Definitely.
But if you're not doing local marketing, try and call out pain point, and people will adhere to the, you know, like gravitate towards the pain point. But yeah, like you want to focus on I know a lot of people hear about the 80-20 rule, and then you focus on the 20% to cut the fat out and you know, of the 80%. But I'd say 20% of the 20% is like, seriously, that's where you can make you know the difference, because if you understand that actually, the more specific you are, the higher conversion rate you're going to get, and the more people you're going to get interested in what you do. And if you can do that, you can gain a really good source, because you can then expand that to like different areas and everything like that. But if you the better you understand your market, the more research that you actually do, and the more you ask, like huge, just ask the people who are your current clients what it is they have problems with, then, and understand why they've come to you, and what separate, like what are the things that you solve, what are the things you could do better, and then utilizing that information and actually acting upon it, then you can outdo your competition every time. Because a lot of people, and even a lot of the bigger businesses, don't utilize that enough. And a smaller business is agile enough to actually, move around that and, pivot and make changes a lot quicker than a large organization. And that's where you kind of cut out the big guys, is that you're able to move quickly and agilely. And
absolutely.
You get ahead of them.
Definitely. Being in a position as a smaller business in comparison to a larger competitor, you're at an advantage in some respects, because you are able to pivot and you are agile, and you can be all ninja and swift through and, figure out what they're doing on the back end. Whereas, if you're an up and comer, the big business isn't looking at you at all. Like, you're a speck on their, their radar. So they're not even going to look twice. Whereas if you know exactly what they're doing, you can tweak that to work best for you. So you're going to gain traction a lot quicker than the traction that they gained in the same space of time and the amount of money they threw at it. Whereas you're leveraging the money they've already invested to then, kind of get not to where they are, because if you followed them exactly, you will never, ever get to get the results that your competitor's gotten. But if you at least leverage that, you can then quickly move forward and then at least get to a point where you can then pivot or change and things like that. So, I think that's a fantastic point. So everyone that's at home that's listening, we really appreciate you investing your time with us here today. If you're getting value from this, if you're able to type in #value, just so we know that you're listening and that you are getting some great value. Simon's had a fantastic question, and it's: at what stage will you introduce your product during the process of creating an audience? Now, Simon, that's a great question, because it is very broad, because it depends on your industry, it depends on what you're offering, it really depends on many different things. But at the same time, it's, as we were discussing before, Liam and I, it's offering value first is really, for 2017 and 2018, that isn't now imperative. Like, it's no longer about you just say, hey, buy this, whatever it is, a can of soup or whatever. You really have to offer value. That's why supermarkets or shopping malls, they offer free samples of food. And then you've tried the free sample, you're much more likely to buy that product after you tried a free sample. That's science, that's stats. So giving away as much free value as you can is fantastic, and it's going to help you basically move forward with your business. But to really pinpoint when the point of shifting from, introducing a product to your free value, it's a very difficult question to answer, just because it really depends on what you're offering, what platform you're in. So it's really just something that, I guess, when you feel you're ready, then start investing a bit of thought into it. If your audience is starting to get engaged with your content, and they're actually being receptive to what you're putting out, then that's a good time to start considering it, and then grow your audience larger. Because if you've got an audience of 10,000 and you've got, say, 10 people that are engaging with your stuff, you're not at that point yet. Whereas if you're, say, let's use this group as an example, this is a fantastic group. The community is awesome. Like, everyone in here is really valued, and, they're just amazing people. The group's almost 700. We'll hit that by today. And for most of these podcast videos, we'll get anywhere from 100 to 150 views. So that's massive. Like, that's 150 people who invested their time to watch this video. So that's a point now where I've said, well, hey, I've just dropped the iTunes link for the podcast. Please give a 5-star review if you like it. So that's a really good time, because I felt that I was comfortable in asking, because I didn't feel like I was taking too much. I've been giving and giving. You know, this podcast is only a few weeks old, and we've almost logged like 20 hours already. So, you know, that in itself is I'm trying to, yeah. So I'm just trying to give as much value as possible.
Great.
So,
I love
thanks,
watching,
man.
Love.
So, I mean, yeah, Liam, from your experience, when would you say is a good time to introduce your product during the process of creating value? Because you mentioned before that, you know, that's especially with advertising now, that's something you need to do. We need to create value first. So from your experience, what have you really found maybe is a good time, or, you know, does it differ?
Yeah. This is the thing. It is all to, a lot of it. What we do is down to testing and understanding, because different markets at different stages, and also the price of the product matters massively. Like you come in trying to sell something that's over £1,000 without enough value, you're gonna struggle. Like, and we sell products that range. But also, like, things like brand awareness matter, like you were talking about, like, actually you provide enough value to do that. So if we're talking like dealerships and things like that, they already carry a brand name, not so much the dealership, but the Audi, the BMW, they carry the weight. And there's a massive want for that, and you're not generating the want. Essentially, they've already done it for you. Audi, BMW have already done that hard work for you, and created the brand. So the want is there. So that's different. So you can go in and say, brand new Audi, whatever, like the R8 is now launched, and people already have that association with it. So it's a lot easier to do, and you don't have to provide as much value as the way that you would in a small business who's providing that. So for those guys, it's more about brand awareness. The larger companies, if we're working with much larger companies, more about the brand awareness. If we're working with smaller companies, then you do have to provide a lot of value. And a lot of times, like if you're just starting out, the more value you have to provide. And that's the way I put it. Until you create that credibility, then you're going to have to provide a lot of value before you actually go and sell to these people. So definitely think about how you can provide the most amount of value, so that when it comes to the decision to ask for something, it's a no-brainer. They're just going to be like, wow, no, I've been helped this much so far. But
they're almost guilted into it.
Yeah. But it depends on what it is. Like, how you've got to think, like, how am I going to, if you've got like a physical product, is there anything you can do around that to provide value? Is there a way that you can provide value to understand how the product works? How can they use the product more efficiently, possibly? And then get a real understanding of the product. Like, one of the things we do is we're marketing for an app company. Pretty innovative app company, but one of the things it goes against kind of the normal social behavior, which kind of, like Uber and Airbnb, it's got the idea of the interaction with going into someone's home. It has that element to it, so it's also like mitigating the kind of negative feelings around that. So we also have to provide more value in order to ease people's distrust in what we're doing at the moment. So we have to go in and really get them on side, and that takes quite a period of time. But also letting people in through the peephole. Like, I know that's one massive thing that I was having a meeting today, and we were talking about, right, how do you provide as much insight to what you're actually going to sell as possible, so that they have a taste for what they can expect on the other side. And that's how you generate the interest then, because there's more trust, and like, trust is one of the most huge factors when it comes to actually buying from you. And the trust and credibility of it. So is there any way you can give a free trial? Is there any way you can give a sample? Is there any way that you can kind of like maybe show videos of like a part of what you do, or is there, that's where you've got to think about, is there any way, or you can show demonstrations of what it is, just really highlighting the benefits, and also understanding the emotional aspects, is the way that you can relate the benefits to an emotional aspect that people can get invested in as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one of the things where if like, okay, so say I'll give you an example of a coaching sales funnel that we did. So the coaching sales funnel would first give a ebook that provides quite a lot of value, but before they do that, they've got we do quite a long, lengthy post that goes with that really relays the value that's going to be in the ebook, highlighting that the ebook is free, so that people know that it's free, so they're not expecting any like traps or any like expecting any more than that. Try and use minimal amount of information that you need from the people, just their name and their email. The more you ask for, the less likely you're likely to get the opt-in. From there, we're then going in, and then they can read the ebook, but we hit them straight away with another offer, and we say, hey, to go with this ebook, you might want to do this. Then you've got a video sales letter from our coach. The coach will then do a value-based video where he's providing value in the video, and he says, to accompany this ebook, you may want to take us up on this offer, which is a one-time offer. And then if they buy in, it's a low nominal amount, which would then cover their advertising cost of acquisition. And then they go into another one, which is then into a course, which is their course. But then it's another video sales letter providing the value, understanding the value, and really highlighting what's going to be in that course, and then testimonials and things like that from past customers of theirs, and then they're doing video sales letters, so it adds the trust because it's a video from that person. So there's not just something that they've written themselves; it's actually another person saying how good this is, and it's adding the social proof. So and then onto the course then. But you have to provide value at every stage of that in order to get them to opt in. And to be honest, a lot of the people don't opt into the full course. That is just more like a win situation, or like if it happens, then great.
Yeah, it's not the end goal. A lot of the time,
no, it's to really spread the awareness and cover the advertising costs is what the goal is. And then most of the time, then we actually get the clients into their social channels and through to their email, where you provide email marketing from there. So that would be really building up the relationship and providing value through email until they actually opt in through that. So it's more about the kind of the 411 rule. I'm not sure if you know about the 411 when it comes to your emails, but if you provide 4 emails with solid value in them, then one with a soft sell, and then one with your hard sell, like, hey, you need to buy now, offers right now, some scarcity to it, then that tends to work. It's a quite a good email sequence, but and understand, like, that's the basic kind of principle, but it's not that you need to be thinking about how you're going to provide value, and that comes back down to asking what the pain points are, and then you create value based around the pain point, how you can help them alleviate that pain, and that's what will get you the sale, is by understand how you can alleviate their pain, and addressing that with your value. And they'll be throwing hand over fist to give you money if you can alleviate it at the end of the day. So that's how you do. Yeah, dude. Dishing them out. Make it rain. But yeah, But that's how you get people invested in what you do. Is by providing value and providing a story that people can latch on to.
Yeah, no, Liam, that's awesome. That's been some really good value. I think everyone at home's gotten some fantastic value from that. So, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Like, yeah, I think everyone at home, if you are listening at home, we'd love to hear that you did get some value from this. If you're able to type in #value. If you're on the replay as well, just #replay, just so we know to keep making videos like this, to continue on with the podcast, just so we know that we will invest our time in this further. Because if we feel that you're going to get better use out of our time elsewhere, then we can certainly help in other regards. So if you are getting value and you're on the replay, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, Liam, this has been fantastic, man. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been absolutely a pleasure. So for everyone at home, for them to be able to get in touch with you so you can help them with their businesses or, any services that you are providing or offering, how does everyone get in touch with you for that?
Yeah, so guys, just add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm more than happy to help there. Add me as a friend, ask me questions. I'm there to help. I also have a social media insider group, where our group is based on like online advertising and getting people sales. Like the best part that I've heard of my 2018 so far is how Yasmin was part of the group, had just started her business, and she got her first sale through following the steps that I actually laid out in the group. And I say that
Beautiful.
She gives me...
Well, there's social proof right there.
Well, she was saying that she said I don't give myself enough credit. But, she put in the hard work. I just laid it out and told her what steps to take. But, in Social Media Insider, we got... my aim is to provide literally bleed me dry value. But we do have some really great people who come in and give interviews and things like that as well. So we've got one of the guys I'm working with now is Mark Castro. He's a 7-figure lead generation specialist for the financial industry, and he's turning over what, 3 million in 6 months.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic.
He's a good friend of mine, and he comes in and he's providing quite a lot of value there as well.
Yeah,
we
that's
have
awesome.
Guys with over 1 million following on and give value in talks as well. So just join Social Media Insider, guys. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, man. Drop all the links below for sure. Drop the link to your group. That would be fantastic. That would be a great group to join. Yeah, no, awesome. All right, so Liam, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Everyone at home, Liam, Ashley Davies has been an absolute superstar today. He's been just jam-packed with value. So, man, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great fun. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the group or touch base on before we wrap this up today?
No, guys, honestly, if you want to hit me up if you got any questions, then please do so. I'd be happy to help. That's what this world needs a bit more of, is people willing to help. And if I had those kind of people when I was starting out, and even to this day now, I still reach out to people who are in a predicament to help me. So if you have those kind of people who will help you, if you give for people, you will receive, and that's really my motto. The more I give, it will come back to me eventually. So I'm happy to help.
Exactly. Yeah. No, awesome, Liam. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it, and all the value that we've covered today. I think everyone at home would really enjoy that as well. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. All right, we'll stay in touch because I'd love to hear how everything's going over the next few months. Man, thank you again, and I'll send you the links once it's all up on iTunes and Android, and although you got an iPhone and YouTube as well.
Okay, that'd be great, dude.
Awesome. All right, man. Thanks again.